No, look, I'm really looking forward to tonight. I love Rita's work, and I'm looking forward to being inspired again to get out there and do some more photography, because I have not done any for quite some time, but a very small window of opportunity I had when I went away with the family a few weeks ago, and it was exciting. But I'm in a bit of a rut. Everyone has a rut with photography, and I'm in a bit of a one at the moment. But having said that, it's extremely busy at work. Things have sort of ramped up a bit with. In my work, the cost of living goes up and the mortgages go up, and so does my type of work, unfortunately. So we're seeing that now, and yeah, it's been a bit stressful. I've had a fair bit on, other than thinking about photography. But I'm looking forward to having some time off in 5 weeks or so, and I'm hoping I can get out there and do some shooting. But I'm just not feeling it at the moment. So Rita, I'm really hoping that you can drag me back into it tonight.
Okay. Let's do that.
No pressure, no pressure.
You'll need a wetsuit, a very, very thick wetsuit, Nick.
Yeah, well, it's true. I'm not going to be doing any underwater photography anytime soon, but it's just beautiful imagery I need to see, and yeah, I haven't even been looking much on Instagram or anywhere like that, so I haven't been seeing people's work. Yeah, it's just a strange place I'm in at the moment, but I'm sure I'll get out of it soon enough, and yeah, really looking forward to seeing what Rita has. But you better introduce Rita, Paul.
Well, I haven't chatted about what I've been up to yet.
Oh no, you can you go for it, mate.
I'll spit it out. I had a wonderful workshop on the same time as Lukey, and it was one originally we were going to be doing together, I think, like half a year ago. But I was out on Bruny Islands, and I ended up starting the trip by going to a golf club and buying some very large umbrellas, because the forecast was like 3 days of rain. And you know, it was partly advertised as an astro workshop, so that was pretty interesting. And I was going like right here. But it's like that with landscape photography, particularly with a fixed date event. Like, you just pivot, and I went places I've never been on the island. I shot photographs I've never seen before. I've never seen the mist and the scenes that I had. I've never seen the streams and the rivers rushing like they did. I've never seen the swell hitting the coast and creating all this foam before. And I've been going there for 25 years. So I've actually got a lot of unique photographs, and that's saying something for the amount of time I spent down there. And everyone did pretty well to pivot, and we all learned a lot. It was a lot of fun and lots of good food. And we did a really interesting session at a wildlife raptor hide, actually, at the very end, which was something I haven't done a lot of. We pulled out the 400s and 600 lenses and had a bit of a ball with that. So I've been home sort of a couple of days longer than Lukey from his taco workshop, and yeah, just get my head around. And I've actually edited most of the photographs already, which is a bit unusual. And yeah, but I've been trying to get Rita on the show for a long time now.
It has been a very long time.
I was saying a year, and she thought I was exaggerating, so it might have been half a year. But yeah, Rita's an old friend of mine. We've known each other for quite a long time, and I don't get to see her too much because she's busy flying around, sailing to Antarctica and flying out to Tonga and hanging out with whales and chasing surfers in Sydney, because she lives Avalon, I believe, or at least that's kind of your backyard. And funny enough, that's the very first place I arrived in Australia, and 25 years ago this month, actually.
Really?
Yeah. And I
You just missed me. I lived at the Backpackers 20 years ago.
oh yeah. Well, my did a fair bit of backpacking in those days, and one of my dear friends in New Zealand had moved to Avalon, and he'd been there for a few years. So we put up the tent in his backyard and in Avalon, and started surfing on the reef there, and started to get to know some of the locals, and my love affair with Australia kind of began in your backyard, Rita.
Wow, I didn't know that.
There you go. Well, there's a few things we'll probably learn about each other tonight, so we'll keep it on the family rating, but you know.
I take surf photos of you if you come here surfing at LA.
Oh, that's it. Yep. I'll have to get a wave off the locals, mate. That's pretty hard work at the Avalon Reef there.
Here, look. Just for Paulie to see. This
Oh, I remember when you posted
this
that.
was here in Avalon.
That is massive. That's North Avalon, yeah? Right up
That's
the front.
Well, it's mid-Avalon.
Yeah, that's. What do you reckon, Loki? You'd be out there.
Oh yeah, it's not too shabby. I love Avalon actually. I used to live in the northern beaches, and that's one of my favorite places to photograph. It's a special spot aside from the waves, and then all of the wave action just adds to it. So it's a magnificent area.
So I think looks like there's a cliff cafe culture that's been going there for a while. Because a lot of the readers' posts I see of late are dawn rising with coffee in hand and surfers checking out the waves at Avalon. That seems like a bit of a routine. But going back, Rita Kluge, Rita's been shooting quite a long time, and she's had a great love affair with underwater photography in particular and whales. And some of the things we're going to go through tonight, she's done an incredible sailing journey down to Antarctica. And God knows what kind of practical and realities there are, swimming with leopard seals and places that can kill you without leopard seals just because of how cold they are. And opposite to that, she's had a long relationship with the whales migration in Tonga, and she's got to a point where she's been leading trips for many years and getting all sorts of people out there to have, potentially life-changing experiences. And she's won a lot of awards. We sat down together at awards dinner and watched Ignacio winning awards. I think last time we were hanging out. That was at the Focus dinner, I think it was.
Oh, Iggy. Yeah, I kept punching him. You're not allowed to enter here.
Yeah, I was just judging the 360-degree awards today for Iggy. Actually, it's myself and Jackie Rankin and Richard.
Oh, I forgot to enter. Sorry, Iggy.
There you go. Well, I can't get accused of any bias then if I didn't. You didn't. I'll just switch over to speaker view. There we go. Already on the speaker view, Lucky. Yeah, so that's my very casual introduction, because I think, as many things, really wanted to start the show with a video, and I believe this is a video with a backstory to one of her great life adventures, and she spends time sort of talking a little about her background and where she's come from as well. So rather than me rambling on and overlapping what she's already got laid out for us, it's not a completely polished finished video. It's in the makings, but it should it's about 4 minutes long. And so we'll get Rita to share a screen when she's ready, and we'll rock and roll with that.
I wonder what you think. Can you see a screen?
Yeah, we are.
Yes.
Right there.
Oh, great.
Maybe just maximize the video. Yeah.
She's got it. Yeah, give it the green button in the corner.
There we go.
I'm Rita Kluge, and I grew up in Germany, in the far north, Hanover, where there's no ocean or no mountains and no wildlife. And I'm a physiotherapist, osteopath, and I love wildlife photography. To shoot underwater gives you a different world, a different feeling. And then on top of it, you have this wildlife, which you never see on land. So when you're underwater and you see a whale underwater, they are massive and they are not aggressive. They're gentle and beautiful. That really got my passion of wanting more. I couldn't sleep. It was a Wednesday night. I opened my laptop and there was like a photo. It was a leopard seal and he swam in front of an iceberg, but underwater. And he looked so elegant and he had his mouth open. He had lots of big teeth. And I said, wow, what a great animal. And it really got my interest. So I clicked onto the link and it said that he was still looking for someone to join his little crew to sail to Antarctica. Paid $1,000 deposit without planning anything and just did it. It's pretty crazy.
As you can see, it's really quiet and sunny and lots of penguins swimming around. No, we're not there yet. So we are still at the Drax Passage and we're arriving in about 2 days. So 2 days, of wind and wave.
Oh yeah!
Oh, have we lost the sound?
Can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you.
There's music coming.
Oh, there we go. Oh my God, that creature's huge.
So that was my first encounter ever. And the iceberg just collapsed. So you can see all these white ice bubbles, which are not really good for autofocus on the camera.
Oh yeah, I was going to say, it must be hard to track.
So all I tried to do, that's Jorgen, photography colleague, the tour leader. He told me just keep an eye on his mouse and don't let him grab your fins. And then I thought, why is it not shooting? And that was my fin. Oh my God. I got photos of the neck of the seal, and Jorgen got really not angry, but worried because they're huge, and the leopard seal was on my tummy.
Oh, wow.
I will show a bit more later. This is just part of the movie. Then on the very last day, this happened. This is what we came for. They usually feed on krill, 98%, I believe. On the last day, I was just saying goodbye to Antarctica, packing up, and I heard a leopard seal grabbing a penguin. He was sleeping out like, whew. So we were already packing.
Just had our first encounter with a beautiful, beautiful leopard seal. And where are we again? We are
in Tonga Island,
Gugon.
And how was it, guys?
It was awesome.
Our first
And
encounter.
Scandinavian also, but it was really, really great.
Awesome. It was epic.
All right, so this was just a little sneak peek to
Oh my
a
God.
video I'm working on.
You're still alive, Rita. Cuddling, trying to cuddle leopard seals. One of the great predators of the Southern Ocean. They are not to be trifled with, is my understanding.
They are massive. I didn't know what I got myself into it. I didn't have time to study them because, you know, I do my things here, coffee van and going to work, and so I didn't really study them. I was just worried how to get to Antarctica with being seasick. And that was my first day in Gugon Island. And I was just vomiting for 5 days and 5 nights.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. And I had to do shift work. I had a big bucket next to me, and the cook and the skipper had to dress me. I was in my undies. They had to dress me because otherwise I would vomit all over his boat. And then they sent me upstairs.
Oh no. Jeez.
So,
Yeah.
so
How long was this trip, Rita?
Altogether, I went for 6 weeks.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God, that's huge.
Yeah, that's lots of medication.
So did it sail from South America? Or where did it sail from? Or
Yeah, from Ushuaia. Ushuaia is the shortest distance to get to the peninsula of Antarctica. And I have a map later where I made some how do you say, little notes, what we saw and where we went to. I can share that later.
And when was the trip?
That was 2018, February, March.
Wow, fantastic.
Yeah, it seems like a lifetime ago. The vomiting too. I've forgotten all about it.
Yeah, I was sitting next to a guy on a boat 48 hours ago, or 72 hours ago, going through that. And yeah, it's fine when you're on your own, but we see someone else having a go, you start thinking about it. But
It didn't look like a particularly massive boat either, so you probably feel every single wave out there.
It was so small. I mean, I love sailing, and the benefit of being on a sailing boat in Antarctica is that you get up in the morning, maybe 5:30, and all you hear is the coffee brewing and the chatter of the seals and penguins, like. And all you're waiting about is for 6 weeks is when you hear that, you know, it's a leopard seal. And then you have to get dressed without vomiting because it's not good to have vomit inside your wetsuit. And sorry, okay, stop talking about the vomiting. It got better.
It's nice to have a bit of reality though about it's not all sort of, you know, fluffy
beer and
animals
Skittles.
Beer and Skittles.
I'm not going to hide anything tonight, boys.
Well, I mean, Rita's a pretty straight shooter, so there's not too much beating around the bush with Rita. So I have a long overdue thank you for Rita, actually, before we get in the show. Like, I actually borrowed Rita's 5DSR and shot most of the red Tunda Lake Air project on it.
Oh, wow.
So I didn't have, and she hardly knew me. We'd only met once or twice.
And I just bought it.
And she loans me a 50 megapixel prize camera to this crazy Kiwi Tasmanian fella to fly around in planes. Adam lost the lens, and she's probably wondering if I'm going to lose the camera out the window.
What? You lost the lens?
Adam did.
Adam did?
Yeah, his went flying way out the window. So I managed to hold on to your camera, luckily. But
oh man, Adam Williams was the one I knew from Easy Way Photography, right? Through Focus. And then I said, hey, Adam, who's this guy? Do you know him well? Just ask me if he can borrow my new 5DSR. And Adam was like, he's a good friend. Yeah, I mean, you know, it's your decision, but yeah. Okay, here it is. And I had no idea about aerial photography, what can happen, and oh my God.
Safe as houses.
Yeah, it's a pretty safe pair of hands there.
Yeah, I haven't lost the camera out the window yet, so. And I've been hanging out of a lot of windows, so yeah, so far so good. So I actually remembered that just a little bit. When I saw your camera flashing, I thought, wait a minute, that's probably the camera that I was using on the trip. So thank you again. But Rita, what might be nice, because we're right in the middle of midstream, and a lot of people may not know much about your background or where you're from or what your relationship to photography even is. So if you don't mind backpedaling a little, and you don't need to show us any baby photos or anything, but we can have a chat about the bigger picture of yourself and your relationship with photography if you're up for it.
Sure, if I remember. I tried to make notes next to me all day, but it kind of got lost in translation. So when I was in Germany, my mom actually never, you know, she's Korean or was Korean. She just passed. And that's why I was away for 1.5 years in Germany. But anyway, mom, she didn't grow up liking animals. They just eat animals. And I showed my mom when she was dying, I mean, you know, for 8 months in bed, I was showing her pictures of the leopards here, and she says, yum, yum. I show her a picture of a whale. I'm like, Mom, I just won an award. And she's like, oh, yummy. Anyway, my dad, who's hopefully watching, hi, Dad, or later, not sure, I told him to watch. Dad. And Elke, and my brother Yonghun, and Oliver. Anyway, so my dad always loved animals. So we had cats or dogs and never asked Mom and brought them home. And I was collecting big snails. That was my biggest wildlife adventure. I mean, they were huge, you know. And then I fell in love with dolphins over television, you know, and Skippy the kangaroo. And it was all just over television. And then my dream started by coming to Australia. I sold my saxophone, my curtains, and my stereo, and bought a ticket and came to Australia. And then I had to work with horses to make money. So I told everyone I'm a stripper, but I was a stripper. Oh my God. Anyway, so I was a stripper. And
Strapper.
The strapper.
yeah, I was
What's a strapper? Is that a horse thing?
oh man, yeah. So it's not like a stripper. I've learned later on, it's a strapper. You care for the horse. You walk them. You get them ready for the races and all that. You cook the meal,
Gotcha.
the molasses, and you're a strapper. Anyway,
I
So
can see
I'm
how that
half-
could be a problem.
I'm half German, half Korean, and I watched your last show with Oliver Wone, and I
Yeah.
couldn't believe how good his English was. I'm like, oh damn, I'm after him.
He might have had longer hair. I don't know.
No, I watched the whole show. No, I've been here longer. Something is wrong. Oh, I'm older. That's what it is.
That's it.
Yeah.
The brain's less flexible, maybe.
That's right. So, and then when I came to, what do you mean less flexible?
This brain plasticity, isn't that a thing? When you get older, you've got less capacity to
It's
be
fine.
flexible around things. I don't know.
Good.
I've never had an issue with your English reader, so
So, and anyway, by living in Avalon at the Backpackers, and I'm actually still on the same street, but luckily renting a little studio. And actually, I think it's big in comparison to the Backpackers. The ocean is right there. And that's when I started to see whales, and I tried to take photos of them passing in the migration time. They're passing past Australia twice, south and north, having babies and coming back to Antarctica.
it's a southern migration at the moment, isn't it?
Just finished, but there was just a whale caught in our stupid nets.
Oh. Like shark nets, you mean?
Yes.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so we try to get rid of the nets, but it's hard with the government, So we try everything. I try to help all the organizations with feedback or photography. And that's how it all started, actually. Because, you want to know a nice story. So I was taking photos with the iPhone of whales, and that didn't work out. So I bought a camera, and I wanted to look up what it was, but I can't remember. It was a Nikon, because I used to have a film camera in Germany. So it was, you say Nikon? It was a Nikon before the 810, before that, something like 600. Anyway, I kept calling Nikon and complaining, hey, I need a different body because the whale still looks like a little dot in the ocean. And she said, Rita, you bought so much gear. Don't you think you should do maybe a photography course? I'm like, well, I don't want to be a professional photographer. Why should I do a course? Just give me a better camera so the whale is better in the picture. And then she says, look, there is something coming up on Hamilton Island with these famous photographers. You would know them. And I'm like, who? Peter Eastway? No. David and Claire. Oliver. Yeah. And she says, Bruce Pottinger. I had no idea because, I was just being in Avalon surfing. So I very quickly booked, and that's when I already had this dolphin shot everybody talks about, that with bubbles, that I was on TV because they thought I can speak to dolphins.
Dolphin whisperer, that's right.
Yeah, that's when it all started.
Skills.
But anyway, so thanks to the guys, I want to say boys, but maybe Peter Eastway, sorry. No, because of these legends on Hamilton Island. Oh, and I tried out my first, I tried out my first Aquatech with the most giant turtle after our aerial photography. And obviously I was all alone in front of the hotel in the water. And I didn't know what to do. I had a 50 mil on, no idea about settings because, I'm not like I don't like reading much. So and then I felt something really warm next to me, and it was a giant green sea turtle. Wow. And I had a 50 mil on, so I have photos of just the tail, just the eye, and then a pattern. And that's how it all started. And they all gave me so much confidence because they thought the dolphin photos were amazing. And back then I thought, oh, just shot them off the boat. And what filter did you use? I'm like, what do you mean you can? I still actually don't have a filter. Shouldn't say that. Actually, I have to go to Nisi. When I won that award, I met the Nisi guys and I said, yeah, I have to come and buy a ND filter or something. Yeah, and that's the story of my life. And then charity people asked, hey, do you want to come with us and do some dolphin fingerprint recognition and take photos? I'm like, all right. So I would drive up the coast to Nelson Bay and do that like every second weekend. So I got heaps of experience how to not get water onto your sensor on the top.
Oh no.
It turns off for hours when that happens. I didn't know that. It came back though. And then Living Ocean, here's a local charity organization. They, I don't know if you ever heard of them. They asked me to come to their boats and take photos of the whale. The fingerprint is underneath the tail. Underneath the tail is a fingerprint of each whale. And and we collected lots of data. And even one year, got recognized that the seismic testing, it was stopped for the migration time here in front of New South Wales coast. Yeah, so Living Ocean was also the reason why I went to Tonga the first time. I did not believe them that you actually can swim with whales so close up. I thought that's just photoshopped, stuff like that. That's all like fake and they just want my money. I thought it was so much money, and it was like half of it what it is now. And I said, don't I get a discount shooting for you? And they said no, because it's low budget. I'm like, oh fuck, okay, I come. And that's how it started, that people asked after that, when I posted the photos, hey, can I come with you to Tonga next time? I'm like, oh maybe. And I'm still doing it. So that's like, I don't know, 2016, 15, 16 it started.
Wow. And you're doing also some whale sharks as well?
Oh yeah, right? Whale sharks.
Yeah.
Oh, where's that picture? Oh, can you see it? I'll show you later, but it's hanging there in little. So that was a coincidence too, because that was taken in Tonga, and Lisa was my most beautiful whale guide for one day. And I think I got 3 awards on that day with her. And that shows how important it is to connect with the people around you, to have a friendship with the animals, with the people who are on the boat, your guests, the skipper, the workers, the cleaners, the cooks. We had the most fabulous time. And Lisa was my whale guide. I was a tour guide. And it was just magnificent. Oh, and then her father, who I thought is her brother. So we became best friends straight away, because I thought he's a brother. He contacted me through Facebook and invited me to Ningaloo Reef. He said, look, why don't you come? We have a resort closing down soon, and stay as long as you want. So I stayed a month, experienced a most amazing vegan eating months with his 3 most beautiful girls, wife, and they were so generous. And then they left, and since ever then I do my tours there.
Oh wow, fantastic!
Yeah, cool, hey, lucky. Just
so you must have created a lot of friendships with the local Tongan people. And how would you describe their culture to people that haven't been there?
Oh wow. Okay, Tonga is still a little bit different to Fiji. Fijians are very used to tourists, I would say, and they can communicate really well with you. In Tonga, it's all very little and really poor, so you almost don't see it. So you go to maybe guest house, especially when you do those tours, it's boom, 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 because it's so expensive. I used to do it. You do 5 days in a row, people come and leave. But now I do longer tours. So we have 2 days off. Our Tongan team shows us a village. We bring some presents for the kids, whatever fits in a suitcase, and go to their local church and hear them singing. And they're just so grateful, but so poor. So behind the walls, it's really, really poor, but happy. They're so generous and beautiful. And oh my God, I remember the cleaner from my second guest house. I made friends with her and she said, stay longer, longer. I'm like, oh no, I gotta go home to Sydney, I booked my flights and stuff. And then the flight didn't go because of fog. And I was stranded for another 2-3 nights. And I went to Ofu Island, and her family, they didn't even have a fridge. And they, oh gosh, I have photos. Oh, I have photos of that too. We should do another evening with that. And they would just walk into the water and get like a massive shell, like oyster looking. And then imagine that she opens up and says, okay, here, eat. But the water is like 26, 28 degrees.
Wow.
And there was no white wine with it. It was delicious. And so generous. And then the man came in with one boat. Oh, sorry, there might have been more, but there was one boat with some men of the families, and they would share all the fish around. And because they don't have fridges, they just share and go again next day. Cool, huh?
As fresh as it gets. Out of this frozen plastic wrapping business.
Oh, yeah, no.
Rita, I think it might be nice to start looking at some of your images if you're up for that.
Oh, no, I got so used to it talking. Forgot about it.
Rita was saying before, I don't want to be talking much before we show photos. And I'm like, I think you'll be fine with it, Rita.
I was fine. All right.
Did very well.
So what do I do? Share screen.
Yeah, share screen button. That's the way to go.
Okay. And then you see the mess of my. Okay, here we go. Quick. Okay, here are lots of pictures, and they're not in order because I couldn't remember after 2018 how to put them in order. Let's talk about Antarctica. Hey, should we?
Yep.
So that was a shot of Jorgen Rasmussen, of me in all my layers. And when you have a good day, it's actually mostly cloudy, and it can be glassy. So you can just imagine most beautiful landscape photography, but not if the boat doesn't stop. So you had to be quick, because we always had a destination to go to. So for instance, so how does that come across? So here on top, do you see my cursor?
Yes.
Yep.
So this is where you come from, Ushuaia. So 5 days, 5 nights, vomiting over here. And then you go through, sorry, I didn't want to say vomiting again, but I had to.
You did it.
I think 8, we were with the team, we were 12, and 8 of us were vomiting. And then we went over here and then to Goudon. And this is where you saw the movie with my first leopard seal, and she was massive. They are like 3, they are like, I mean, this looks cute, right?
Wow.
But
Oh my
they're
God.
like 2.80 meters approximately. They do say on Google between 2.5 and 3.5 meters. This one was a boy, and this is Jorgen, and he was pushing him backwards. He did this with me too. So they're very curious. And then and then, hey boys, you have to ask me questions because Paul promised.
How was
Promised.
the boat, Rita? Like going back, like you just to get the bigger picture of this particular trip. So who organized the trip and how did you get on it? And was there a scientific purpose or an artistic purpose? And
Ooh, good question.
yeah, like what was the trip all about?
So actually, should have talked to Jorgen before. So Jorgen Rasmussen is must be a name amongst you. He's a fantastic photographer with his beautiful sea cam you can see here on a photo. That's my dream, the sea cam housing. So it has like a Ferrari inlay. Anyway, get to that later. My birthday is next Friday, by the way.
And the GoFundMe campaign for my birthday is
and Jorgen has been, I think, 5 times in a row with the same captain and boat. He just books out the boat and finds people to join to pay for the boat to get the leopard seal feeding behavior of penguins. And I remember that's why you haven't seen much of my feeding on penguins, because we decided to keep it quiet because he was trying to get something for the Andrew O for the Ocean Geographic ready, and then we just didn't get it ready in time. I was in Germany, my mom wasn't well, she was dying, and we all get busy. Yeah, so that's why I've shown you that footage today with the penguins. Oops, see Daisy, that's a whale. Hope you recognize that. So Jorgen hadn't had the opportunity. Oh, it's loading slow. Oopsie Daisy. Different picture. Let's do a different one. I think most of the people who are going to watch this eat at least chicken. So you just have to see a penguin like a chicken. And then it's not that gross. I actually was mesmerized by the coloring in the water. Maybe that's a photographer thing. And like I said, it happened on the last day. So the most of the time they're feeding on krill and look cute and curious, or they're lying around doing nothing. So that's actually a leopard seal. So the leopard seal is the second largest seal after the elephant seal, and is an apex predator. So you don't see any scratches or marks on them ever.
We've had a couple of them turn up here in Tasmania on the beaches.
Oh, did you take photos?
No, I did take a photo on my phone. I was working at the time, and I heard it was down there and people were gathering too close, and so I went down and had a look, and he was just sort of lazing around on the beach at Kingston.
Oh, wow.
But that was a few years ago now. But there was excuse me, I think the same one was back only maybe a month ago. I don't know if it's the same one, but another leopard seal was back, about a month ago or so. And
hopefully not the same one. Should have been back in Antarctica.
Yeah, I don't know if it was the same one or not, but it's certainly another big leopard seal that was just lazing around. Do you guys remember which beach that was on?
No, I remember hearing about it, but
I don't know if it's Taruna or
yeah, it might have been Taruna. Yeah, but it was yeah. I don't think people realise that they look very cute lying around, but they can get a bit upset at times.
Yes,
yeah,
especially.
Teeth are very impressive.
I mean, look at the.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry about the screen sharing.
Oh well, that's a serious pair of teeth.
Yeah, they're certainly much more docile when they're out of the water. You see the footage that you showed of them swimming around, and they move very fast, but when they're on the beach here in Tasmania, they're just lying around, soaking up the little rays of sun that we have.
Are
they very social, Rita? Are they solitary?
No, they're solitary. Yeah, they don't like other seals or other companions unless they're breeding. It was very interesting. Look, when I see this picture, You see this picture?
Mm.
Oh, it's quite
You
astounding
can-
imagery, huh?
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. I can't believe actually I took that. I mean, look at the line. Oh my God. But look, the penguin kind of still looks alive, although he's obviously not. And I don't know if you saw while you were watching the intro video how the leopard seal really, really slowly eats a little bit of muscle here, a little bit of biceps, triceps, tummy, and he keeps doing like this. So I named this photo Connoisseur because he didn't seem to me like a lion or like a, I don't know, like a savage animal. Like, how do you say? Give me some words, boys. You're better than that.
Sounds like a bit like it was corn on the cob or something.
Well, it just seemed like it wasn't an aggressive process to eat the food. It was a gentle, slow, precise,
Yes, it was beautiful to watch.
approach. Like the nuanced appetizer moving into the gentle mains with the with the dessert. But I think if I just feel like I want to address this image as from an artistic appreciation, Rita. It is so exquisite. The incredible curved lines and just the nuances of communication. Like it's almost like they're almost one. And when you think about that conversation about life and the transfer of life from one to the other, you know, like the process of eating or at any time from a spiritual indigenous point of view is the transfer of life from one being to another. And this almost like physically represents that to me. There's almost a sense of surrender and this perfection in the face of the penguin that's almost like gives a sense of it still being alive, and it's just a very conscious active part of this process because it knows it's just naturally how things go. And you'll notice a lot, say with African creatures, when they get killed, they move into this space of fight and flight, and then they just surrender. There's a switch that goes on where they're like, okay, it's my time. And this is actually the natural process of life and death.
Wow, that makes me emotional.
Yeah, it speaks really beautifully of that. And those little subtle nuances of tone from the blues to the, even just the different colors under the bottom of the leopard seal and that curve and the apex of the beak at the bottom. Like it's such an exquisite color palette. And you've separated the tonal range of the image so beautifully that it really isolates them and just glorifies them out of context. It could be anywhere. So it's an astonishing imagery. I'd be so proud of this.
Oh, I take it off quickly and enter it in many competitions.
I think it would do well, and Paul, you've summed it up really nicely. It's
thanks,
very well said.
Yeah, it's
wow, Paul, that means a lot.
a strong piece of communication, Rita. Like it really is.
Wow. I mean, I did win
It's
the
challenging in its own way, which I think is part of its power. It's not shying off from the reality of nature at the same time as it's kind of hauntingly beautiful at the same time. It's really striking and beautifully composed too. Not that you have a lot of time to compose these sort of things.
It's not even cropped, Paul.
Oh my, sorry. Oh my God, you did that in one go. Holy smokes.
It's also like even the winner of Osgeo Nature Photographer of the Year this year was also one of those sort of hauntingly beautiful images, but also of a very gruesome outcome, I suppose. So it's definitely appreciated by some judges, I guess, at least in those terms of these scenes.
Well, thanks, guys. That's so nice because that's how I feel about that photograph as well.
There's something about the leopard seal's eyes being closed that really adds to that somehow as well.
It does. It really does.
I actually deleted the other one. I couldn't decide before I entered it to the Mossman Award a little while ago. There is, because we always talk as photographers about eye contact. So the judges, you guys talk about it. So I got confused, and intuitively, this was my favorite photo. But then thinking after all these years, I did read a little bit and watch things, and it says to have eye contact. So there's another photo where her eyes open looking at me. and her neck is a little bit tilted. And then I got confused. Which photo is the one I should use, you know? But here on my wall now is actually it's actually this one.
Yeah, well, it's interesting you say that, because you've read that you have to have eye contact. Well, no, you don't. Obviously, for certain things, you know, eye contact is better. But in this particular image, the closed eyes absolutely adds to it. And if there was any change in the posture and flow of this photograph, it would change the connection that Paul was talking about, and it just works so beautifully. So if, you know, the leopard seal didn't have that continuous curve that goes from the seal to the penguin, is one of the standout features of this image, and the eye closed makes it even more special, because I can't put into words like Paul does. And if people rewind back, you know, a few minutes to how Paul put it, it's certainly how I feel about it too. It really is an extraordinary image.
Thank you very much.
It really exacerbates the emotion of the image to me. The eye closed, it moves it into a more spiritual kind of space than a literal one. Like, it moves out of a hunting space into a more like metaphorical one, or symbolic one as well. But you know, I don't want to rob the audience of the chance to see all your other images, but at the same time, I'm really, really, really happy to have spent a beautiful amount of time on this, Rita, because to me, that could be a career-defining image.
Yeah, we can wrap it up now. No,
you know, like, images have a different purpose, and a lot of images are about the storytelling and the understanding of what's happening around it, and hopefully not too many technical yawn photographs, because we've probably talked about that enough.
No, the next one is not like that. So this one is and look, what I want to say with this photo, I know it's very overexposed, but when you're in the water with a leopard seal feeding on a penguin, and it was just Jorgen and me in the water, and what I can tell you, I don't know if I should make it official. Not many people watching this, do they? So when the penguin loses the meat and fat, the penguin thinks. And that's when I felt the whole game was changing. Like, look at her face now. Yeah. Ooh, she's not happy. So I took a quick shot, put my arm out. That means get me. And it was quite funny, or not, because Jorgen put the arm out as well, because she started coming to him and to me, because there was no penguin anymore. Like, I have a video of it, but I can't use it because it's all over the place. I'm just trying to get out of the water. And we both had our arm out, and Bree thought, okay, I get Jorgen first because he's closer, but I should get Rita because Jorgen is a tour facilitator. Rita is really a guest. And then, oh my God. And then we were both on the Zodiac, and he grabs our cameras, and I'm like, okay, get him first. And then... God. And then anyway, he pulled us in fast. I don't want to say they're dangerous, but it's just the energy dramatically changed. And that's why I had this picture in my book as well. I made a little book, which is...
Tears of the Sea?
Sorry?
Tears of the Sea?
Tears of the Sea. That's right. But unfortunately, it's sold out. So, but
congratulations, I should say.
I have to look. I will redo it. Oops. Okay, I show you the title. So what happened? I got this wonderful artist client, and I seriously didn't know how to finance my trip because I'm not rich. I mean, I got a good job as a physio.
Wow.
As a physio, and I have a book there, one left, but it's totally beaten up. I'm too worried to show you. I got it from a restaurant. I borrowed it. Because I don't know where my copy is. I think it's in Germany, actually, still. So, and this
128 pages.
What?
128 pages, I believe.
128. How do you know?
Oh, just on the grapevine, Rita.
So, oh, did you buy it? Do you have it?
I wish I did.
Just say yes. So anyway, there are pictures like this, and so this is when you sailing past, so you have no time to put a monopod on. You just shoot out of your hip. I mean, yeah, out of your hips really. And this is a blind shot. I had 2 cameras set up, one with wide angle, one with 100 to 400. Didn't have an extender at that time. Should have, but this is wide angle and it's one shot, you know. And then we sailed on, so the boat didn't stop for you. And I think that was a very lucky shot. And I called it the Tears of the Sea. Oh, let's see if I get it together. I was talking with another ankle client about what I got really emotional about this, because do you see the icebergs could be frozen tears? Mm. And I called them, as long as we still have, I get emotional. As long as we have still frozen icebergs, they are the tears of the sea, then we still have hope to save this world.
It's an interesting and well put philosophy, actually.
Yeah, well put.
That makes a lot of sense.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I saw
it's funny, like, and as the ice melts, you know, it absorbs into the sea. You know, it's that expression of sadness. You know, just dissipates out into the ocean as these icebergs melt.
Yeah, because before I move on to the next picture, so I had 200 supporters. Then I didn't want to collect money because I thought it's weird to collect money for a trip I want to do. But I said, you get a book for it, or you get a print or a preview of a video, which I've been so struggling with, because making videos is actually not that easy.
You did a crowdfunding campaign, Rita, is that right?
I did. So I did Kickstarter, and didn't think any of it. And it was just so emotional how many people have been supporting me. So that's why the books are all gone. And I got half of my expenses through that covered. Awesome. That was like 10 grand. Oh, sorry. So I raised 10 grand, but the trip was 25. So I only had 15,000 minus. But I was so grateful. I had so much support, even by people I didn't know. All my clients supported me here in Avalon. And thank you again, everyone. And one day I'm going to make a free movie night when this movie you've seen before is finished, because I really much appreciate it. And it was made it possible for me to go.
We go through more images from the trip, Rita.
Sure. So, some are high files. You know what we should do? We should always put JPEGs in. So this is the boat in the background, but it was really hard to get a shot of the boat because the penguins are always in the way. And
Antarctic problems.
Antarctic problems. But here you can see how the penguins, how there's no snow, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay, it was February, March, but there's so much less ice as it's supposed to be. There are still here and there. Here we go, landscape photographers. I tried my luck. There are some incredible. This is actually an island. You can see the rocks here in between. This is an ice flow. Look at the colors and.
Wow. Oh, it looks like a.
Looks like a hand coming out.
A hand and a head. Yeah, and a person in the foreground of it. It's like
a marshmallow man or something.
Oh, I like that. Oh, I love it. Are we recording the show? Oh.
Yeah, we're recording.
Awesome. All right, keep going.
Yeah, it's like
I mean, it's quite striking. It's instantly there.
Wow.
Anyway,
man, it really stuffs with your head about the layering here. Of what's happening where.
Oh, we had this one before. Sorry.
Sorry.
And just I love these icebergs. I mean, I wish I would have had more time being on kayaks and stuff, but I didn't because I was every day in my 7mm wetsuit, getting my fins, trying to find them, and then I left them by accident. I left them by accident on top, including my Canon camera.
Oh my God, really?
It survived. It's all good.
Yeah, Canon. Woo.
Yeah.
I tell you all the things I've done to mine. So
so there's plenty of things we haven't heard about too.
Oh, there is. No,
and then can I just mention how hard it is to shoot penguins? So here we go. Whoever's listening, I give you a challenge. If you can show me a great picture underwater of a penguin, or a penguin leaping out of the water, jumping into your camera, not cropped, then I give you a prize.
Yeah, they're just like little bullets, aren't they? They just shoot around so fast once you're in the water.
And then here, it's so dirty, that water, so this is actually a baby. This is the only time you can get really a photograph, because they're tiny and learn to swim. And that's when the leopard seals can grab them, because they're still young. Now here I tried my luck, but okay, this is not a full frame. I had to crop in, but if anyone can take a shot like this and a little bit more jumping into the camera from a moving boat, please send it to me. I found it really incredibly hard. Then another dream of mine was to go to Antarctica, and what we don't have in Tonga is the humpback whales don't eat for 3 to 4 months while they're migrating and have their babies or mating. So they only eat in Antarctica. So my dream was to be amongst them and get those photos you see on National Geographic, And then I realized, it's actually not easy, is it? So most of the time I was on the Zodiac with my underwater housing, and couldn't get that. But then I was lying on the boat, and this happened. This happened.
What a moment, Rita.
Oh, wow.
Oh, right. Is that a tongue?
This is non-cropped, as you can tell, maybe. This is a tongue, yes.
Wow.
And this is shot with 100 to 400mm. Oh my God. I just couldn't do any better, but I loved it so much. I couldn't believe this. Imagine a krill falling out of here.
Yeah.
I think someone won the competition with that, a krill falling out the mouth. Now we're moving on to different seals, and they're actually very, very shy. They're crab eater seals.
Have you printed this? Could you have you printed this?
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. I'm just imagining that on like metallic paper or something. Oh my.
Oh, I did. I had it at my exhibition, and it was bought straight away. And do you know how it goes?
That is amazing.
You get photos ready for your exhibition, and then somebody buys it, but you don't have it at home.
That's the idea.
Yeah, because it's expensive, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so rare. I'm in the same. It's only a few times in my life I've actually framed my own work.
Yeah.
And even then that ends up going, or I end up putting in the next exhibition anyway.
Yeah, or it's a leftover. So anyway, so to get this photo, can you guess where I was?
I don't know. Were you leaning over the side of the Zodiac and doing it, or were you literally in the water?
Oh, what? Did I tell you that?
No, it's just guessing.
Oh, you are no fun.
That'd be a lot safer than having to stick your arm up hoping a leopard seal doesn't eat you.
Yeah, so there are actually 3 crab eaters, and they don't eat you. I mean, they all don't eat you. Don't say that. These ones are just cute seals, and they're very shy. But there are 3, yeah? See at the bottom? That's not a rock. That's a third one. And they're like... And I had so much ache in my back muscles because I had to go with my beanie, no gloves, and go like do, and wait that this seal is going underneath a sleeping seal, and then get this one shot. Oh my God, that was hard work.
So were you shooting on burst mode or?
No, I don't burst. No, point and shoot. Oh, maybe I should, but no, I always like to. I shouldn't say that, but my dad, when I was little, we had how do you call the rifle shooting?
Air gun? Or
What?
air gun?
Yeah, air gun. So I was always a good shooter, and this is how I feel with photography. Point and shoot.
Well, you are shooting with a cannon.
Yes.
Huh,
Oh, I got the R5 now, so.
Uh,
Oh, funny.
Hilarious.
Luckily,
No
I
one's
got
ever
that
done
10
that joke
seconds
before.
oh, well.
You're so bad.
The
You're
right
so
moment for
bad.
it, at least.
Whoa.
Woo!
So
Oh,
that's a really fast photo. I wonder how. Oh, bugger. Yeah, sorry. I got. Because
I mean, it's one of those technical questions, but I'm a bit curious if you have it set on a certain shutter speed, or how do you approach these kind of subjects with your camera settings? You don't have much time to change any settings. Do you have something just ready to go? Like, do you have it on shutter priority and keep it high, or what's your process?
Yeah. No. I was just looking up on what shutter that one was. Well, if you know that you're going to go for something faster moving, I mean, underwater photography with the shutter speed is much different to above water, but I'm not an expert and I just do things. And if it doesn't look good, I scroll, the dial. But underwater, you are safer to do lower shutter speed to get, not to lose too much light. Does that make sense? Did I say it right?
Yeah, well, you probably need to because there's so much less light under there.
Oh yeah, it's dark, man.
It looks
Look
like
how
you're
dark
being
it is there.
blocked by the iceberg as well with the light. Yes.
Yeah, so that wasn't a high shutter speed. I tried to look it up here, but it doesn't say here, does it?
If you go into grid mode and press I, it'll come up with information which will tell you, or it might be over on the side, maybe underneath our face.
How about we won't reveal that because you just have to come to one of my trips? Because I know what I put on in the beginning. I won't say it.
Well, I guess it depends a bit on your housing, Rita, too, like how much control you have over the settings, I guess.
Lots. So
really basic housings don't have much control, and the really good housings do, my understanding.
I have lots of control.
Oh my God, look at that.
Yeah, you might have to actually unshare your screen if you want to show that, and because I won't see it otherwise, Rita.
Oh, that's a good point, actually, Nick.
You just stop the share, and if when you're talking, you're showing it. So talk away.
Okay, when you have a housing like this,
Wow.
they're very heavy. They're really good for exercise. And I shoot in with the whales, of course, without lights on, but I put them on just for you, so you can see how it would look like. And you got lots of control here at the back. That's why I love this. And also I love this. Oh, you see this 45-degree viewer, so you can change it to the side and do portrait and landscape. And oh, it's really heavy. I think it's 7.5 kilos. So you get more opportunity because I love to look through the viewer what I get as this like a surf housing, or I have this set up in Tonga as well because I like to have the fish eye in this one and the 16-35 in the other one.
Oh, so you're shooting wide. So what's your fisheye then? 16 is already pretty wide.
8-15.
Oh, 8-15. Yeah, I haven't tried that lens yet.
Oh, it's cool. Oh, I'll show you a photo with that. So anyway, so with the Aquatech, I love it too because it's light and easy and boom, 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 boom here out of your finger. Fantastic. Cheaper option. Great little housing. You can do some setting priorities at the back, which can tell you if you come to one of our tours. But I show you a photo with a fish eye.
Just share the screen again.
Thank you, Nick.
Goes.
Perfect.
Hang on, I bring up. Coming. Here we go. Okay, fisheye. Here we go. So this is.
Oh my.
Lukey, do you remember this
That
photograph?
is amazing. Oh, I'm not sure if I do remember exactly.
Guess what? I have to thank you that, can you still see me?
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, that photo where I won the Pano Awards, the Epson Pano Awards, and I won a gold. And Iggy was also on the top 50. I think he was placed 13 and I was 18.
Yeah.
And you motivated me to enter a competition. You said, you know, your photos, I gave you a lift.
Oh, that's right. I do remember that. Yeah. Yeah.
And I was really shy. And you said, you should enter a competition to the Epson Pano Awards. I'm like, which one? And you pointed out this one, as I remember. So this is fisheye, but I corrected the lens.
Yeah.
Calibration, is that the word, Luke?
Yes. Oh, yeah. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Or,
And sometimes I like to keep it like this one. See how it's round on top?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's, yeah.
And
It's
So you're actually really close to these whales.
no, that was far away.
Well, it's not that far. I mean, it's still
No
fish
far
eye.
over 8:15.
Yeah.
Hey, this is still far. I don't know if you can see the non-sharpness. I show you when it's close, okay? Here we go.
Oh my.
wow.
So his nose is underneath me now.
Mm.
And I'm trying to get away. Look, viewers, 14 or 12 to 14 meter whales, to have two of them playing with you, that was a one-off in those years I had. It was fantastic and no one got hurt. And they move very slowly. I'm really not good in taking videos, so I have videos and you see how slowly they move. But look at his eye. Oh my God.
Look at it.
That's intense.
It's intense, isn't it? A creature that large, just completely.
And then they do like,
Wow.
ooh, touch my belly, give me a little scrub, you know. Those two whales were just fabulous. We love them. And I think there's some viewers here, or they will watch it when they have time, and they remember that. They just couldn't believe how much fun we had. It was insane. But then it all settles down again. And we have like a murky day with lots of algae in the water, and the mom and calf just having a little rest. And the baby's doing a peekaboo. So it can be all so very different. Or this one. This is a 4 meter calf, just floating up to get, well, I called it first light. So the light is coming here from the side. I don't know if it comes up on your screen that well.
Mm.
And that's one of my very first photographs I took where I didn't know my settings really well, but it was so murky, and it's still one of my favorite photos because it has such emotion in it for me. How the whale is floating up to the light and to get air the first time. And it didn't swim, it was just floating up. So beautiful.
What a moment.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it every year. Every year is, you know, it's different and new and exciting. And oh my God, I love it. Oh, they just hang in the water. And
It's amazing. Just the light that's coming down from the top of the water there. It's just all the beams, and it gives it such an ethereal kind of quality to it. Yeah.
no, this one is like that as well. And I remember, do you know Enrik Sala from National Geographic? So he does lots of, what does he do? The Pristine Seas assignment. And he didn't want normal whale pictures, but anyway, I sent this in. people always help me and say, you should send it in. And I sent it in. And it won actually the Pristine Seas assignment and was seen somewhere in New York. I don't know. I didn't go. It's too far away. And it's one of my first photos in my first year. And just to show you what you can achieve when you don't know much, I didn't have anyone telling me what settings to use, how to use my housing, but you just look and you try it out. It was really stormy day, dark sky, not much light, and look at that. And that was a 5 DSR, Paul.
Yeah, and to be fair, like as much as I love that camera, and so much of my career I've used it for my aerial work, it's not the best low light camera in the world.
No.
Like once you start creeping over ISO 400 to 800, you're sort of like giving it a bit of a push.
It was such a push to use the 5 DSR, but I had no other choice because I needed a camera housing, and the housing cost as much as the camera. Yeah. And I got a second-hand offer, and it was for the 5 DSR. And I asked a Canon master, should I do that? Is that okay, the 5 DSR? And he said yes. So I did it, and I've been shooting the first years only with the 5 DSR. God. Anyway, Henrik Sala gave me such confidence back then. What did he say? He said, I actually pinned it here on the wall behind. He said, I love the magical atmosphere of this photo. It is monochromatic and a little grainy, yet this is what gives it the mysterious feel. It makes me feel the tenderness of the maternal relationship. Oh,
I agree with that.
Yeah, he's a beautiful man.
Am I right?
And then these graceful whales just, they grace with their 40 tons through the water and just want to say hi to you.
That's the underbelly, by the looks of it, yeah?
How cool is that? Yeah. You like it?
They often spin around and are they often upside down like that when they're next to you, or is that unusual?
Oh, they roll around constantly. Look, like this.
Oh, wow, that really tells that story, doesn't it?
So as soon as they see you, they do all these different things, like, ooh.
Nobody.
Rita, do you think they really enjoy you being there?
Yes.
It comes across with whale photography like yours that they're actually really enjoying you being there, and that's the feeling you get?
Yes, they do. So we only take 3 people in the water and we stay together. So we look like a fish swarm together. So we are 3 people, 3 guests, 3 of you. And then we have our whale guide and me. So we kind of look after you. And we stay together. So the whale knows this one is a female and the baby was swimming underneath her. So she's just floating up. On the nose is the sun. Yeah, the surface of the water, but she trusted us. She didn't mind because we stayed together and didn't put her in danger or freaked her out. We were just calm around her, and that's when you get the best encounters, right?
So what are the golden rules with doing this sort of photography around whales? What are the things that you must be aware of, and you must in terms of sympathy to the whale and in terms of your own safety and that sort of thing?
The rule is that you stay together and you listen to me and the whale guide, and then everything magical just happens. You don't splash around, you trust and you connect.
Right. So it's really quite zen then. It's really a really calm sort of thing, and so you're not moving around much at all. You're just sort of hanging there, and
they're coming to us. I mean, sorry, this color of this one is funny, but this is the most sold picture because this is the first one I also take in my first year, and you can see it's not totally sharp, but it's printed that big. It just looks so amazing because of it was really a shit day. Thunder, rain, big waves, and I tried to take a photo like this again, but can't, because you don't always have that weather. And look what the whale does. It just comes towards you. It wants to have a look. they're so curious. So they're not like whale sharks who are just there and they're past you. Whale sharks are fish, and these are mammals like us.
I can't imagine what it must feel like to having a creature that big just coming straight at you like that. Just wondering what's going to happen next.
You hold hands with me.
Oh, you're like,
I normally have one client here.
I'll probably
grab one on my shutter.
I'll be grabbing somebody's hand, I think, if that was coming at me. I didn't know what I was doing.
Rita, in terms of the color, do you tend to do any white balance adjustments or feel tempted to move the colors in a different direction, or do you try to keep it as close as you can to how it was captured?
Yeah, so every year, as you can tell here, is different color. I'm very bad with Photoshop and stuff. I'm still learning. I mean, thanks to Adam Williams, I had lots of lessons, but I'm still, oh my God, I have to go through all the lessons. I had some private lessons, but it's so hard. So every year, the color of the water is different. And then I like to do, like on this one, I did a white balance. I put the dropper on the whale and find the color I want, and then change it to this. So this is a real color of the whale, how it would look above the water, right? Right. But in the water, through the lens, it would look, I just had it here, it's blue.
Like a casting, yeah?
No, that's black and white. Can you see? So here I used white balance. So mostly I do white balance unless it suits the picture, where I just leave it like this one. I leave it as it is because it suits the picture. Correct?
Yep.
If that answers your question. So sometimes
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I've always had the sense, Rita, that your work is very natural. Like it's very it's not kind of nuanced around in different directions. It's quite true to form is the feeling that comes through. And you know, that's not a comment on whether you do or don't work on it. It just means it's very successful and it comes across as being very natural and very
well, it is pretty natural.
yeah, I've always thought of that with your style.
Now this is Doxy. Oh, sorry. This is Cass. Oh, maybe she doesn't want me to say it. Anyway, this is one of my guests. I was lucky to have, because she knows more about photography than I do. And look at the whale. This 14-meter whale, maybe 13, is swimming right at her, and she's not even backing back. Isn't it amazing? I love it. And the whale obviously didn't kill her. The whale stopped and did a turn. They know exactly where you are. Once a whale clapped my bottom. It gave me a little push. It was amazing. It was, oh no, actually first it wasn't, because I wasn't sure if I'm gonna be okay. It was following me. It was, you know, there were lots of whales, and I had a 360 camera on, and I promised not to share it. And it just, what it did, it pushed me on my bottom and then pulled back. So they just want to play tag. But I do recommend not to touch any wildlife, okay?
Yeah, those fins look massive.
Yes.
I know it would. Oh my goodness.
So what we do at the end of the day, or if the whales are bad in the afternoon, if they just don't want to play with us, we go to this cave. And this is Swallow's Cave, as many people know now. And if you Google or hashtag Swallow's Cave, it's really hard to find good fish pictures of it. Not that I've done it actually. Anyway, I haven't seen many around. I've seen one I really loved of Darren Jew, if you remember, years ago.
Yeah, I think you do actually. Yeah.
I have to look at
Might have-
Scott
might have been-
Telly's.
actually.
I'm sure Scott has a fabulous one as well. But they are, most of the time, the fish are gone. And in this year, we were so lucky that the guest just left here out of the cave. And I said to my whale guide, Lisa, let's do it. I always wanted to swim through a bait of fish. Can you please take a photo of me? Because I want to just swim. This is my dream, to swim through fish. So I didn't think of any awards to win. And so I gave her my settings, my camera, although she was anyway talented. Look at the fish. I mean, look at it. So and then the light. So there is a little hole on top of that cave, and only at some time, which I'm not going to say now, in a day, it's a bit of secret, this light comes through. If you come as a guest, I tell you, because we're going to go there then, but not every year we have that fish there. And it was
What sort of bait fish are they?
I didn't ask. I don't know. I was asked. I can't find out. I mean, I try.
They're visual poetry is what they are.
The visual poetry. That's it. Yeah, it was just a dream, and I won the most prizes with these photos. So, and thanks to Lisa, my mermaid, extraordinary. Okay, boys, what else we want to see? Do you have any more questions here? So maybe you
I
want to
saw
know.
that you did well in the Mossman photography competition. Was that right?
Oh, did you see that?
Yes.
Yeah. I was a bit embarrassed because I got 2 awards, and there were such nice people, and I didn't expect the second award. And that was this one in the cave with Lisa coming up. I entered,
yes.
and the leopard seal you've seen already.
Yeah.
And I won the open. And look, it was sponsored so well, and I was a bit because I got a lens. I got a 15mm lens of Nisi and a new carbon fiber tripod. So I was embarrassed
well.
to clean up like that.
Look at that.
Oh, look at that. Oh.
So this is Lisa again, my beautiful whale guide, and she took a photo of me, and I do not look as graceful as her.
Well, she's pretty up there on the grace factor, Rita, to be fair.
She's
Can't imagine me or Nick or Luke sort of pulling it off too well.
Oh, come on, Paul. Wait a minute.
Make you look good if you come.
I'll give it a go. I would definitely give it a go.
I can make anyone look good. No, but Lisa was just naturally beautiful. Yeah.
Wow.
So cool. Hey.
That's an amazing photo. Yeah. I can see why it did so well.
Yeah, beautifully
Okay.
contained around the sides, and it's just that linear kind of flow and that circular kind of almost like currency of just
Looks
flying.
like a blanket to me, like lying back on a bed or something of fish. It's kind of cool, like in a dreamy scene. Yeah.
Oh, I like that look.
It's
You know what?
otherworldly, like the background just looks totally surreal, like out of a film set.
Yeah.
And yet you have all these literal kind of little pockets of detail in the foreground to just sort of bounce off of, and there's so much beautiful depth to it as well. Depth and height at the same time.
Because what's really hard for me, so when you do nature competitions, you're not allowed to do much composing or Photoshop cloning, and so I always get very wary how much I can change. So this one is not changed much at all because it's made for a nature competition. And then can you see this black line? So I'm just being really frank, because most of you are photographers watching, I think. See this black line here? That's natural. But I would take it away, but I wasn't allowed to. Do you know what I mean? In a different competition, I can, but if I enter the National Geographic or wildlife photography, you're not allowed to do that, right?
Yeah, it could very well be if you remove that, it may have potentially unbalanced the scene as well. So it's one of those things, isn't it?
I like it in there, to be honest, Rita.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it's another way, rather than being this big blanket face, it's another shaft to add to that linear kind of shaping of the image. And that
I think it actually it draws the eye down through the top of the image and takes you right to the subject as well. So it really does help to highlight it. Yeah.
Coming off her hand too, which is it's kind of poetic.
Like almost all corners are still leading into the diver there. Yeah.
Yeah, the leading lines are also beautifully placed in this image.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much. But you know, the problem is when you're at that cave, there's so many people and you're not allowed to clone anyone out.
Yes.
You know how rare it is to
Can't exactly toot the horn, can you? You blow some bubbles, maybe. I don't know how you handle the etiquette with that kind of thing, but yeah. I mean, it must be interesting, like balancing running tours and being able to create personal artwork like this. It must be a bit of a dance.
Yeah, you have to be fast. You have to be very fast to. Oh, I want to show you this one actually. What is that?
I think gone into
I might have clicked on the
you look on the top right there,
an icon that took you to the map.
Grid. You'll go back. Just press G for grid.
G?
Yeah, G for go.
Oh my goodness, magic. Can I do a photography course with you? Now we can see.
As a matter of fact, you can.
I can. Hey, I just want to show you what I was wearing. It's not a pretty photo of me, but I don't care.
I would love to learn a bit more about the backstory and the kind of, equipment, the kind of the way you handle the cold and what sort of process you need to do before and after, and the kind of clothing you need to bring down there, and just the kind of things you need to be aware of to manage these extreme conditions. Because not only is it freezing cold already, you're going into water that's, I don't know, what, 2 degrees or something? Or
yeah, it's 0 to 2. We always had a look. It was there's snow on the boat here. And do you see here Jorgen with the beanie hanging out at the back?
Oh, is that what it is? I don't know what it was.
So I started it because it was bloody freezing. We were going out 8 hours a day looking for leopard seals. This is what it takes. I have people asking me, they say, I'm going to Antarctica in December. What's the approach to get photos like you? And I'm like, do you mean my leopard seal photos? And
5 days vomiting and then the next 5.5 weeks on a boat trying to get a photograph.
Yeah. So first of all, you can't just go for 10 days or 2 weeks. And second, unless you're very lucky. And second, if you're on a big boat of those public boats, they don't let you go into the water, right? So you need a private boat. And then the third is you need to know, I had a very experienced person here, Jorgen. It's been 5 years in a row, knowing what he's doing. He's just amazing, but he doesn't do tours. But anyway, he's an amazing photographer. And this is Breeze, who has been studying leopard seals for 10 years.
Gotcha.
So I could have not have it any better. And Philip just pulled, didn't have luck to get his freediving suit in time. So he had to take his, his diving dry suit, and he couldn't pedal around fast enough.
Because they catch the water a lot and slow you down?
Yeah, I had to pull him.
Oh, wow. I guess, yeah. Do you have to wear weight belts? Is it different buoyancy in colder environments, or?
No belt.
No belt.
Buoyancy. This is really not flattering, but I thought I have to show you. So this is 7mm wetsuit, which is very buoyant, and it's good to be buoyant so you don't sink, and you shoot out of your hip. Yeah, so to get photos with the leopard seals, I go to share screening again. Stop share screen. You actually, oh my God. So you look through the, this is my exercise time, guys.
So you're the viewer and you're like, oh my God, I like this. And then you do like click, click,
Right.
click, click, you know, look again. Maybe you go under, hold your breath, click, click, click. But you shoot out of your hip. And this is what I teach my clients as well. In Tonga, people always ask, do I have to be a free diver or diver? It's like, no, you just have to be able to snorkel and have a mask, be able to have a mask on your head. Breathe in, be able to hold it. And I normally, when I have people from here, I do some pool sessions because a lot of people can't do it or have the hair in it. And it's good to practice before so you don't freak out when you're in Tonga and you get water into the... No.
Oh, water on the snorkel. Yeah, that's the freakiest part because that directly affects your ability to breathe. So yeah.
So it's actually, for me, it's the easiest that I don't have those expensive ones. You buy the cheapest snorkel you can get. So you can blow out the water which comes in on the top. If you have this this valve on top, there's always some water stays here or here, and you breathe it in and swallow it.
Oh, yeah, I was wondering about that because every time I used a bit of mask, I've had the same thing. It's like there's some residual water that sort of comes back down when you try and clear it.
Yeah, you had that expensive one, so you don't need it. You just have a normal, simple snorkel and just breathe out, water's gone, and you keep snorkeling. You never put your head up. Never, ever. You don't lose contact with the, not enemy, wildlife, beautiful wildlife, right?
And with the whales, Rita, are you somehow, how do you know where they're going to be and how do you position yourself to be in the right place?
Oh, okay. So when you, a good tip is what I do when people asking, I say, look, if you don't want to go with me, please ask me questions because don't go just with the cheapest or the most expensive. It's more that you know that the person booked the right boat. So it has to be the right boat with a good team on board, with an experienced skipper. And if you know the owner, which I do, I know he chooses only great skippers who knows where to go. And then also what happens when I go to Tonga, before I take my people, I go earlier and do some, tourist days on the boat. And it's awful. It's good to do, so you know actually the difference. So in comparison to a private charter with the whale sharks as well in Ningaloo Reef, I charter a whole boat, which is normally for 20, and I have 8 people on it. And in Tonga, it's a bit different. It's very expensive. We have 6 people, and it normally can take 8. But if you have normal tourists on it, they have noodles. They put their thick sunscreen. I had the 6 sunscreen all over my dome, and I couldn't get it off. Not ever on this day.
Yeah.
Now, these tourists come just for 1 day or 2 or 3. They just book randomly. So the skippers or the boat owners have a different motivation. They just want to show that they tick the box that you saw a whale from far away. But when you go with a private operator, not just with me, with any private operator, they charter the boat, it's all yours, they get to know you. Better the team is, closer the skipper will drop you, that he knows that you stay with your guide and listen and don't do naughty things. Yeah, there's always one.
It'd probably be me.
Yeah.
No. I wish I could take you boys. Oh my God.
Oh, it's only a matter of when. I'm super keen, and even more so after just getting such a beautiful kind of real life insight into it.
Yeah, I'd love to do it as well.
I got a second housing. We can talk.
Well, I've got my own 5 DSR now.
Yeah, but maybe you want to. So I shoot with a Mark IV now underwater.
I do have the R5, the new R5, which you have as well.
Yeah.
And you did such a beautiful review on it, which I can't repeat because I'm not good at it. It would be so beautiful underwater, but it's another, how much? $6,000 for me to put a housing around. So I just
I was kind of wondering if moving to mirrorless would be an advantage because you can just use the screen on the back to view and not have to go through the viewfinders. But I was wondering how challenging it was, having a mask and then having to go through that, complexity of the viewfinder and trying to get a sense of, what's sharp. It must be quite challenging.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, most of the time you really just feel in the water what's going to happen, and you take your photos and you look later on when you have your gin tonic or water. I mean, some photos I recovered a year later. You just get so busy with life, and I do have another job as well to buy all this gear. It's not given to me. It's the same as you guys. So
don't know about that.
Though. You see the difference in size. So this is a Mark IV here, which is inside my housings, and this is the R5. And the R5 is so much lighter and cute. It's mirrorless, but it will be amazing as well underwater. But look, the Mark IV, I got so many, may I say, great pictures already with the Mark III, Mark IV, 5 DSR. I don't have to have it underwater because you don't need to be fast. You have enough time. The settings are so different to surf photography. You don't have it on high shutter speed at all. You can shoot on 50, 60, 250, something like that. It's in between, depends.
Well, the big thing to me would be the battery life on the 5D4 would be way better than the R5.
That's another issue. That's right. Oh yeah, you don't want to change batteries on the boat.
That's a problem.
I mean, they have created these new batteries, which are about 16% better than the old ones, but yeah, there's a lot of power to run those EDFs and screens. So it's the flip side of mirrorless to some extent. And when you've got really focused, I mean, in surf photography, it must be the same. Like, I imagine some surf photographers are reluctant to move to, say, an R5 because of that. Like, they want to be out there for 8 hours, and if you're out there and it's 12 foot, you're risking your life going back in over the reef and have to go in and out multiple times would be potentially quite dangerous.
Thank goodness you're not shooting Sony then, Paul. It'd be even worse, wouldn't it?
Yeah, especially those early Sonys, they were terrible.
Oh, the battery life.
Oh my God! Yeah,
just because the batteries were half the size. That's all. If you have half the capacity, it's going to last half as long, I guess. But they were really quite small. You might have noticed. So
they're all pretty good now. I know the new Sonys are pretty good on their battery life.
Yeah, no, they do the job. I was wondering actually, Rita, as well, like you mentioned about the cost of the housing, and I know there must be a lot of attraction for people to get housings that are maybe quite a bit cheaper, and there's definitely some other brands there where you don't have to pay quite as much. But is that a problem if people went out and got something that was less expensive, or should you really be just buying once and crying once and getting something that actually does the job there? Because it's probably, if you're only going to do it once in your life, do you go out and spend all of that money if it's just a bucket list item kind of thing?
Okay, so if you're a keen photographer already, I would say try to borrow one. It's not too expensive, and you get the right housing for your camera you have at home, and talk to your tour guide or tour leader if it's okay with that camera you have to go underwater with. And I'm telling you, editing is a big part of it. Yeah, I didn't show before and after, but you need to edit underwater photos. You need to. There's otherwise you don't see much. Depends how algae the water is. So you need to learn, and I'm happy I do that at my tours anyway.
Yeah. Do you need to use a lot of dehazing and things like that to sort of bring back some of the contrast?
Dehazing, contrast, highlights, shadows, clarity, not too much sharpening, coloring, cyan, magenta, get rid of that, stuff like that. But every year, I swear it's different. You can't use the same settings.
Interesting.
No, I learned the hard way, unfortunately. But no, you can do so I do a preset. I use a preset from last year. And then after, if I had time, after looking after my guests, I compare and I say, oh, bummer, I need to change it a little bit. And then I change it quickly or I do not. And then I suffer now and looking at those photos. I was like, oh, but you just select them all and take some sign out and in and out. But I always use Lightroom first, and then I go normally into Photoshop.
Do you use any
Paul?
Do you use any I was just jumping ahead of you, Lukey, sorry. I was just wondering, like particularly with something like the 5DSR, did you end up using noise reduction software? Because this is one of the big challenges.
Not software. No. No, I just take noise out. Maybe I did back then more often, like 1 or 2, the number 1 or 2. But when you take noise out, then you have to put it by 1 back into the whale.
Okay, because you don't want to reduce the detail from the whale, but you obviously would want to remove it from the water because it's not generally that noisy.
Yeah, but things change. It got a bit easier, especially with the Lightroom presets. There are some really cool presets now. It's like, what the heck? So you can just go there and whoosh it over all your photos from the day, and then we can start working on it. But at least you already see something.
It sounds like the key is just whooshing.
Whoosh it
Talk
over.
about that. That's such a good word. Like, I love it. It's very oceanic, the sound of the whoosh. I love it.
Yes.
And I think it's one of the great things I love about you, Rita. Just so expressive.
I just whoosh it.
So expressive and just the freedom of not of tonight. I think for a lot of people is going to be not getting too caught up in the heady kind of intellectual setting based thing and just recognizing that just the enthusiasm of getting out there and asking a few people a few things can get you right in the mix and get you some amazing material without having to be the world expert. And that's actually really inspiring because it can be really intimidating otherwise. People are like, oh, I'll never do that, or I don't understand this, or it all looks too hard. And I'm personally coming away with a bit of freedom around that. And I think the more freedom you feel, the more naturally enthusiasm kind of flows through, and you're more likely to give Rita a ring and come out on a trip with her.
Yeah. Well,
It's a bit like sorry, Nick, I was just going to say, just to add on to Paul's point, that's kind of how you began in this journey yourself, based on the video that you were just showing, that you decided to press that booking button and look where you are now. So it's pretty amazing.
So to that, I just want to say this is for all photographers who would feel intimidated, which they shouldn't, especially after seeing me. So this is a photo where everybody was talking about back then, and I did not understand why, because I just started and I was hanging over a catamaran with no housing, with 100 to 400 millimeter. And can you see how the bubbles are just above the water here? And the whole dolphin is actually underneath the water. And then you see this silky water on top, and then the darker bit on the bottom. So I don't know if your screen is as light as me. I just had to bring it down a bit. And he's chasing the other 2 dolphins here at the front. So this is how I became a dolphin whisperer.
I watched that interview. It's quite if somebody wants to bring it up or look it up, it should be out there online. Was it Channel 7? Who was it?
It was Channel 7 and Channel 9, but Channel 7 was the worst. She just did not let go. So yeah, but you do understand what they're saying, don't you? And I'm like, well, I just laughed it off. I'm like, oh my God, she doesn't let go after 10 times.
Sounds like a stitch up to me.
Oh, okay. And then I said, because the interviewer from I became the heart of the nation of that magazine. What is it?
Of the Australian.
The Australian.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. This guy calls me Bryson. Oh my God, forgot his name. And anyway, he's apparently a really good journalist, and he made me making noises through the telephone. I was sitting in my car in front of my office, and he said, "So how do you communicate? Like, because dolphins actually communicate back. So you do like through the snorkel. There's my snorkel. You do like, and then they don't laugh. It's true. So
just the noises you're making, Rita. It's all.
Mate, you got to learn that. Otherwise, you won't get a photo like that.
Understand.
And then they answer like boo boo. But if you do boo boo, and they do oh oh, and so after this lovely journalist of the Australian written it all down, it was all in a newspaper, and then the telephone was going. They thought I can talk to the dolphins, but I said no. It's just connecting, yeah, right? Just connecting. Doesn't mean I can understand what they're saying, but they had fun, and I just laughed it off and said, look, if I would understand what they say, I would be famous by now. And then, oh, okay, sorry.
Wow.
Sorry, a little bit too much contrast on this one. I had too many files of this one. This was as well.
That is just remarkable.
Are you liking?
Yeah, we do.
Oh, okay, cool. Thanks.
Yes. It somehow
It's
looks
like they're floating in water or something. I'm floating in air, sorry. Just like what you can't, apart from the splashes, it's like it's not even in, it's like they're going through chrome or something like that. It's so metallic.
Yep.
And there's no filter. I don't know what that meant, but I didn't have anything like that. But a photographer said you should have there must be a filter on top of your lens. I'm like, but what would it do?
Yeah.
Because I like it like this, right?
Maybe they were suggesting a polarizer to remove the reflections or something like that. But that's the the most important part of it in a way, to create the
look at this
separation.
reflection. Look how sharp this reflection is of the dorsal fin.
It's
you
staggering.
would lose a lot using a polarizer on this shot. I think.
It's amazing what
especially shutter
say.
speed. Yeah,
it's amazing what photographers say sometimes. They have this tunnel vision of what you should do to take a photograph, and then like to pass on that advice to all and sundry. And sometimes it's just not good advice. I don't think you need
it's not also a blanket thing as well.
Yeah, luckily I never spoke to any photographers before that. I didn't know you guys exist. And I say you just have to go out and do what you do, maybe join a lovely group of people and just try new things. And this is what pretty much we do in I shouldn't say we. You guys in your photography courses, you don't do all the same things. You try out new things, and
where do we sign up, and how do we sign up?
Well, I have 3 boats. They're almost actually boat 1 and 2 are almost full. Next year in August, we're going to Tonga again, to a lovely house in Utolai with the Tongan team, and we get picked up at our resort. So if you like to get in touch, it's ritakluge.com, and my name should be somewhere on this YouTube channel, or just shoot in a chat room a question and I contact you. And then
I've got your website and Instagram details on the show notes on YouTube, so they'll be there.
Yep.
Yeah, it's on Instagram, Kluge photo, or it's on a website. It's all over the place, really. But if I take you 3 boys, it's all full.
Sign me
I'll
up.
sign up quickly.
I'd love to come, but I can't see it happening for me anytime soon. But I'm sure, I can see Paul's just sort of, he's starting to shake. He's getting so excited.
And when you come with me, what I love about how I present the group, how I would love to do. I love to have a rest day in between, not just a Sunday compulsive day off in Tonga. Just every Wednesday I take off and we have time to look at photos, to look at the area. I stay with you day in, day out. I'm there the whole time with my group because there are always 6 lovely people and 1 naughty one. And we all we get to know each other, and it's not like I pick you up with a boat and then it's all wah, and then you don't have any help afterwards. You are with me, so you got me for 10, 11 days, which I love to do. It's a beautiful thing to do. It's a lifetime experience. Otherwise, I wouldn't go back myself.
You've got a big fan online tonight, Robbie Loscombe Newman. He was just acknowledging that using your images for the upcoming Living Ocean calendar and all the wonderful work you've done for supporting the Living Ocean research, and particularly to humpback whales. She's a go hard volunteer, loves the passion, and he really appreciates your storytelling as well. So and also your help with the fundraising. So
Yeah, good on you.
well on to you, madam.
Oh, but kudos to Living Ocean and Sea Shepherd, and they all do it for free as well. I mean, I'm just this little person, and if I can do it with something I love to do, photography, it's so easy to help, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it was 2.5 years, 3 years ago, I got asked by the current captain of the Sea Shepherd to come out to West Africa for 3 months and
No way.
off the coast of Ghana and be their documentary photographer. And it was oh man, I was so close to pulling it off. It was all pretty full on, and all the shots I had to get, and the ups and downs with the visas maybe not happening, and there's other commitments. You work for Sea Shepherd, you're permanently banned from going to about 10 countries in the world straight away because of political sort of alignments of how they are. And I think on this particular trip there was 10 guys with machine guns on the boat. They were African fisheries guys, and they had a very localized relationship with women, and there was bits going on, and I had to sleep on a bunk in the engine room that was about 42 degrees constantly, I think, with diesel fumes, and I was just like, oh, this is going to get more and more interesting. And I had to turn down a whole bunch of work because it was super short notice. So, oh man, I lost sleep over whether I should do it. And as a life experience, I missed the boat, but I'm not carrying any African diseases, and I can still get into most countries. So that's the flip side. But yeah, my point being not about me, that there's some serious commitment from a lot of incredible people that are literally, even to the point of putting their lives on the line to save these magnificent creatures in the ocean. And I think we're slowly learning, but I don't think we understand just how significant the ocean role has in the health and well-being of our planet, and how much it defines the weather we have as well, the role it has in climate change, the incredible level of biodiversity that impacts just about everything. And you've reminded us just through the beauty and connection, I think, that you obviously have, whispering aside, Rita, that you just get this feeling all the way that you yourself have a very, very special way of relating to these creatures, and there's something quite magnificent that you've been drawn to in your life through intuition, through luck, through determination that's brought you to the space that you're in. And to create such world-class images, just through the boldness of just having a go, is really inspirational, I think, for all of us.
Aw, thanks.
You're buying dinner next time, Rita. Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah. Hey, I want to come to Tassie. I want to come to Tassie.
Oh, we'll look after you. We're between the three of us. We'll be good fellas to know coming down here.
You have to bring a swag.
I don't know how big
Luke? What? Luke has a guest room, he said.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I think
It's not a guest room, no.
Not a particularly large place, but
and
maybe
Nick,
you could
little
go
baby.
out in the lawn with the wallabies, maybe.
I got to guess floor. I was just going to say, Yeah, Iggy just asked me today if I was coming up to Sydney to go and visit him, and I was thinking, well, who else do I want to visit? And it was you. So, because, it'd be a good full circle thing to go back to Avalon where it all began for me.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was doing then. I knew nothing about Australia. And I'd love to meet all the community that you have around you and and of course,
Look, I got
I started surfing in Australia at Avalon.
sofa.
Yeah, I'm a pretty good couch surfer, as most people.
Oh, we're laughing.
Had about 40 years of practice.
You'll have to get him off your couch with a chisel. Just
Yeah,
chisel him off.
I got a second key. I just give the key to
You
him.
just have to wait for the surf to come back up, and then he'll be out there, and you can close the door.
That's right.
Don't see me again.
Oh man, guys, I'm feel so humbled that you guys actually wanted me on your show, because I am just more like an intuitive photographer. I told Paul that I'm quite nervous to come onto the show because there may be some viewers who they know everything but they maybe haven't had the experience I did, and I do not know much about photography, but I love it. I love the feeling. I love the animals, the wildlife, the light, composition. I just love the people I meet along the way, and I think you don't need to know everything, right?
I think you.
No, I think it's
Oh,
experience trumps all.
That's an incredibly refreshing reminder of that, Rita. And given the timing of where you're at, I actually think that's a beautifully appropriate thing to do coming up to the 100th show, that we have a reminder that great photography just comes from joy and passion and interest and engagement and
giving it a go.
Giving it
just give
throwing
it a
yourself
go.
in there. Jump in there, jump in that freezing water, just do it.
Oh man, I did jump in a bikini. It wasn't bad, and I didn't think of in. I jumped. The other people jumped. They glided in from the bottom of the sailing boat, and then they said, "Oh, Rita, you wouldn't go." And then I took my clothes off and I jumped from the top of the sailing boat and didn't consider how deep you sink when you jump from the top. It was really hurting on top here.
Oh, the old ice cream headaches, what we call it.
Oh man, and here I hardly go into the water in winter because it's cold, and I don't normally like to get wet. I only like to get wet when it's really warm and there's a animal.
Fair enough.
I guess you probably forget about the temperature when you've got a sea leopard coming straight at you.
Yeah, I get super excited, and then I forget everything because I hate the cold. I get seasick, and what else? Didn't have much money.
I should be a whale guide. Of course.
What a perfect fit.
And I wanted to go back, and I had the opportunity actually to go back. So I went to Brazil and renovated this orange boat. I was upside down with my hat, oily hands in petrol and cleaning and stuff. And I just wanted to live on Antarctica, which you can't. But I just want to be there forever because it's just so pristine and beautiful and pure. And I just hope when beautiful pictures come around by all of us, all of you, anyone who's going now on a boat, there's some people, I think Jay is hopefully listening. He's just flying the first time to Antarctica, working on a boat. You will see it change your life, your heart forever. And you just want to save the world after that, because it feels like you've been to a different continent, different world, like Mars or something. And the animals, it's bizarre. Even the poo looks different there.
Well, your passion has certainly re-inspired me. I think at the start I said I needed a bit of inspiration, and you've really given it tonight, Rita. Your enthusiasm is incredibly infectious, and I'm sure all our viewers tonight and into the future, when they watch it back, will agree that your heart and love for these animals and for what they stand for and their place in the ecosystem in the world it just shines through your photography, and the passion that you've shown here tonight. So thanks so much. Really
Oh.
enjoyed.
Yeah, really appreciate your
love
time,
it.
Rita. It's
Yeah.
been fantastic.
I think it did, because it's quite confronting to be invited by 3 amazing photographers, and then knowing that I have no idea I'm going to watch this show, and it's like it's there forever. And it's like, oh my God. Anyway, they must have a reason. So
Yeah.
I hope it was
No, there's
okay.
a pretty good reason. I think everyone
That's
watched
so
tonight
much
can
fun,
see
yeah.
why.
That's easily one of the most fun shows we've ever had by.
You know.
I don't know who I've had more fun with, to be honest. Excuse me for being a little bit cheeky, and excuse me for being a technophobe muppet at the beginning of the show. So people are literally like online wondering what's happening. I pressed the go button. Meant to be 10 seconds. I don't know what else to do besides press go, and it wasn't going. And so I was like, and then for some reason it took like 4 minutes to go live. So my bad. I should have let Lukey. He offered to do it, and I was like, no, I'll be right.
No, that's right.
So that being
Oh
said,
man, I didn't have any of your private phone numbers. I was about, who am I gonna call? Who am I gonna call? I'm not ready. I'm not ready.
And funny enough, like Rita and I were on at about 5:07. We were way early, thinking we've got a list sorted. It just went all over the place. But I will use this opportunity to remind everyone that we do have a Svalbard exhibition, and albeit not Antarctica, it's in the Arctic. And we still have a few spots. So in the latest showing,
expedition, not exhibition, too.
Expedition.
Yeah.
That's confirmed. It's all going ahead, and the Polar Pioneers are all ready to roll. So
beautiful boys.
That's going to be a pretty amazing opportunity to see some of the greatest wildlife you can see in an Arctic environment, and it's quite different between Antarctica and the Arctic. Antarctica has the penguins, the Arctic doesn't. But
you got polar bears.
Is the best place in the world to see polar bears, for instance. And what I love about Svalbard is it's one of the only places in the world that is accessible these days that has had no indigenous culture. So it never had any Vikings or any sort of early exploration. And so you can imagine the wildlife and the ecosystems are so much more intact as a result, and so much more true to form to how they've been for millennia. And the landscapes are incredibly dramatic up there, and that right off the boat you're looking at huge glaciated peaks and scouring valleys and fjords. It sort of has a dynamism to the landscape as well as the access to the wildlife that few places in the world have all of that together. So very, very, very excited about that. I don't know if I'm going to take a wetsuit, but I'm thinking about it now. There'll be.
I can give you mine.
I do have a dry suit. I do have a dry suit, but it sounds like it'll be a bit slow. And you don't want to be slow around sea leopards by the sounds of it.
No, you don't want to be in the water with the ice bear too close. They're very fast in the water.
Yeah, we've got 5 zodiacs to use day by day, so we've got plenty to zip around on. But
I can teach you some tricks how you can do over the zodiac hanging.
Somebody
has to hold your legs.
We'll be having a private conversation now, I think.
Oh yeah. I actually had booked a trip the same time you guys going, but financially I had to cancel it, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's sort of, you can't take it with you, the old money. You might as well throw it into some amazing life experiences.
But I'm happy. No, I'm
a bit biased. I'm a bit biased, obviously, because I live my life like that. But I still actually genuinely believe that. Like, got somebody, the roof over your head. That's all you need. But the richness of life comes from what you do between sundown and sunup, I reckon.
Night after night, if you shoot astrophotography, it's amazing.
There you go. I need to rephrase that comment. Rita, it's been a real joy. It was really nice to have all the boys on the show. I wasn't sure who was going to make it tonight, so thank you. Thanks, Lukey. And I'm hoping to actually join Lukey tomorrow out in the forest and try and find him randomly in a place with a walkie-talkie, hoping that he hears me from a distance somewhere.
Just turn it off.
Well, it's, I'm sure I'll hear the your car arrive from far away, like how I heard your car leave the other night, Nick. So that
it's got a squealing fan belt that occasionally
That was pretty funny. I
Yeah,
remember.
I was like, oh, this is embarrassing. But anyway, it fixes itself after about 10 seconds, and I just have to get the mechanic.
It's more
to
like 20,
tighten
that one, I
tight-
think.
Yeah, 20. You've got to tighten the belt, that's all. Yes. And
Let
it
us know.
doesn't happen all the time, just occasionally. And it just.
Let us-
That's
let
quite
us know
the
if you're coming
fellas,
down,
shall we say.
let us know if you're coming down, Rita, and vice versa. I think I remember putting in a couch surfing request a few years ago, but I think you're you're just being very wisely reluctant.
I can't
Nice.
remember that.
I was gonna buy you dinner for loaning me your camera to some stranger. I still can't believe you did that. That was so amazing.
Oh, so you still owe me dinner. Great.
oh,
I know a great restaurant here.
No, I totally do.
I go anytime now with you. It's no problem.
Yeah, good. Well, thanks everyone tonight, and yeah, what a fantastically entertaining and uplifting and refreshing show, Rita.
Oh my God. Did we do,
Magnificent.
is it finished already?
Yeah, we're over time.
Wow.
Well over time.
But people don't have to watch to the end. But isn't
Yeah,
this beautiful how we
okay.
can just talk? And
Oh, we're just having a whale of a time, you know.
I love it. I would just have another drink now. We're having a whale of a
You
time.
think this is water, of course. Yeah.
It is water.
Well, yeah.
This is what happens when Paul's the host, by the way. I can't actually do the wrap up. So
All right, Nick. Luke, you wrap up. I'll shut up.
Oh, look, you want to say
I can't
something?
press the button.
You go, Paul. Come on, wrap it up.
All right, thanks everyone. Thanks, Rita. Have a wonderful week, and we're only a couple of shows away from 100, so we will see you soon. Keep well, and think ocean dreaming tonight when you go to sleep.
Beautiful.
Thanks, everyone.
Good night.
Bye, everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye, everyone.